Zion Williamson is yet to suit up for the New Orleans Pelicans so far this season amid ongoing injury concerns. But a video that has emerged on Twitter this past week has fans cautiously optimistic that their man's return could be just around the corner. We hope so anyway, as he has been out for too long. Today we're discussing Zion Williamson's shocking video and how the NBA world has reacted. Stay with us. First up, where are we up to with the big man's injury? Let's see. Back in last summer's offseason, Williamson was training hard out in Cali when he suffered a fractured foot. He underwent surgery immediately with hopes he wouldn't be out for too long, but here we are, March of 2022, still awaiting the big man's season debut. The powers that be then said they hoped he would be fit for the season opener, but when the first game rolled around, Williamson was further away than ever to a return. Carrying around that much weight also won't help Williamson's recovery, especially for an injury such as this, and by December, there was still no sign of the Salisbury, North Carolina native might be back in action. Around that time, the Pelicans announced that he would likely be out of action for another 4 to 6 weeks, but of course, that never materialized. Williamson has had his fair share of injuries in the past and is no stranger to the treatment room. During his senior high school season, he was out for a month after suffering a bruised left foot, and this was just the start of his injury woes. Later that year, he suffered a thumb injury, which also sidelined him for another month. During his time with Duke, the Nike athlete suffered a grade 1 knee sprain after his foot ripped through his shoe, which had a huge impact on Nike's stock. The following day, it plummeted by more than $1.1 billion, which is unbelievable when you think about it. What do you make of Williamson's injury problems? So what's up with this video? Stay tuned to find out. Well, if you haven't seen this one yet, you call yourself a basketball fan, what are you waiting for? The video posted to Twitter earlier this week shows Williamson himself engaging in a super athletic dunk, which seemingly put to bed any lingering injury concerns we might still have of the superstar power forward. He can be seen making a monster dunk on the Pelicans practice court, and after months of bad news surrounding his foot injury, this is a breath of fresh air for Pelicans fans and management alike. The New Orleans outfit is currently lingering in mid-table and could do with a Zion Williamson-shaped infusion to really kick them up a notch going into the home straight this season. In a moment of skill the rest of us mere mortals could only dream of, the clip sees Williamson jump for the ball to collect it off the backboard before playing it under one leg while still in midair, then slamming it home for a super impressive dunk. We cannot be exactly sure when Williamson will return to action, but if the sheer athleticism needed to even attempt a shot such as this is anything to go by, he can't be too far away, we hope. What did you make of Williamson's slick trick shot? Reckon you could do anything similar to this? Give us the detail of your best shot below. So how did the world of NBA react? As you can imagine, the video was shared far and wide when it dropped this past Tuesday, March 22nd, and social media went absolutely nuts. SportsCenter immediately retweeted him with the caption, "Zion just posted this," along with a pair of side eyes. Others commented that with some referencing that he doesn't look far away from full fitness. One fan even saying, "Thought his foot was hurt," alongside a meme of a guy looking utterly confused at a phone screen. Pretty funny. Others focused on his athleticism, asking how a 300-pound man can possibly pull off a between the leg, and we're as stumped as you guys. One fan decided to focus on the conspiracy theory aspect, saying, "Pelicans shut him down and the Zion posts this? Something really fishy going on in the Big Easy." Calm down, buddy. There isn't always something going on behind the scenes. Rehab takes a long time, especially when you weigh 300 pounds. Others commented on how the floor appeared to be a trampoline, and one fan even predicted that the Pelicans go straight up to as high as third place once the big man finally suits up. Another person compared Zion to NFL linebacker Khalil Mack because of how huge he looked in the video, and we agree. We wouldn't like to be on an opposing team trying to stop Williamson dunking on us. No, sir. Who's the league's best dunker in your opinion? And when can we expect to see him back? Stay with us to find out. Obviously, we want to see the big man back on the court as soon as possible, and although he looked pretty sharp in the Twitter video he posted earlier this week, some have said we might not get to see him at all this season. It was reported by Pelican exec David Griffin when he first sustained that injury that his timeline should get him back on the court in time for the start of regular season. Good one, Dave. Not only did he not make the start of the season, but he also might not even make it by the end, if recent reports are anything to go by. The Athletic reported earlier this week, admittedly before the dunk video, which must have had the team tearing their hair out, that Williamson is not expected to return this season, as he has only just returned to basketball activities, as well as only recently being able to put weight on his foot. But the Twitter video seems to prove otherwise, as not only is he able to put weight on the foot, he can also dunk quite magnificently. Of course, there isn't much time left in the regular season, so it would certainly be a squeeze to get him back before the end of this current campaign, but stranger things have definitely happened. Do you see Zion making an appearance before the current season finishes? Let us know your thoughts below. The Pelicans have made an announcement this week. Stay with us to hear all about it. To be allowed entry into the Pelicans' home stadium, the superbly named Smoothie King Center, you were previously required to have a full round of vaccinations or be able to provide a negative PCR test. You were also required to wear a mask at all times inside the arena, but earlier this week, the city of New Orleans announced that they were lifting the mandatory COVID-19 vaccine and testing requirements, which followed the March 3rd announcement that masks are no longer required indoors. Of course, ASM Global and the Pelicans themselves were still able to enforce these regulations at their events, but as of this week, they have abandoned the practice, which many fans see as a positive step in the fight towards normality resuming. The Pelicans and those in charge of the Smoothie King Center over at ASM still recommend that fans are vaccinated and also encourage people to stay up to date with booster shots, but they are no longer enforcing it, which is fantastic. During the pandemic, far too many people abused the minimal power they had and delighted in kicking people out of places or not allowing entry for the slightest mask infraction, so this is certainly a positive step forward. Of course, if you're worried about COVID, you still shouldn't put yourself at risk. But the idea that the vast majority of people should be negatively impacted by a disease that kills less than 1% of people who catch it borders on absurd. What do you think of the Pelicans announcement? We're finishing with Josh Giddey news now. Stay tuned. Things could have been oh so different for Melbourne, Australia native Josh Giddey had he actually listened to detractors who claimed he wasn't good enough, and not just once either. Giddey, who won legions of adoring fans with some impeccable performances this season, including King James himself, was told just 2 years before his NBA breakout season that he wasn't even ready for state-level basketball in his native Australia, which looking back is absolutely bonkers. Josh actually considered going to play footy, as he put it, after one coach told him he would never make it. But thankfully, he had a change of heart, and at one state meeting in particular, which he had not been selected for, he decided to go along anyway and practice on the next court, showing team management what they were missing. The move paid off, and Giddey, the 6th overall pick when he was drafted, was brought back into the fold. Imagine not thinking a guy who has absolutely lit up the NBA this season wasn't good enough. Some people, am I right? As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time for some more fun reveals. Also, why not do us a solid and like, share, and subscribe to our channel? Bye, guys.